Let them come.
Hey everyone, this is Arnold98, and here we have Airazor from Transformers Rise of the Beasts. She rounds out the Maximal crew, and is also my final build I have planned for this movie. She was really quick to design, it took less than a week, and easily was the fastest Maximal for me to put together. And as a result, I think I put the least amount of effort into her, probably because she basically has only one mode in this movie, and it'll definitely show in terms of build quality soon. She has about 540 parts, making her bigger than Cheetor, but smaller than Rhinox. And as always, there are free PDF instructions on Rebrickable. There's a link in my pinned comment below or the description. Here she is in her Beast mode as a robotic falcon. This is easily the better of the two modes, which is odd since my other three Maximals were more focused on robot mode. Spinning her around, she's mostly brown, tan, and black, a bunch of earthy tones, as well as some gray and goldish robot parts showing through. And starting off with her head, it's very simplistic. I like the big green eyes. It's very blocky and honestly looks more like a pigeon than an actual falcon or predatory bird. And the bottom here, I tried to recreate the details of the bird chest down here with some dark tan. And you can see the giant feet sticking out. These are obviously the robot mode feet. And I did add some claws, and they're a little bit bulky because she needs to balance on the giant wings in robot mode. And you can see she shines the best from the top, where you can see her gigantic wings and tail feathers. And yeah, I tried to make a nice gradient between the brown, tan, and black. And I know these colors might not be perfectly accurate to what you see in the movie, but I tried to take some inspiration from a lot of the screenshots, as you see here. And for articulation, her head is on a little joint here, and it could look up and down. And you can open the bottom half of the beak here too, as well as the top, which probably shouldn't be doing that. And coming to the side, the legs have a ton of articulation, which makes them a little bit fragile and fiddly. The joint up here, which is the robot hips, and some smaller joints, as well as ankle pivot. I honestly just like to keep her normally flat on the ground, but it's still, you can still kind of splay these legs out a little bit. And these wings have plenty of articulation here. At this main joint here, mostly uses stud friction with tons of bars for extra strength due to the weight of these. So they can fold up and fold up like that. And then these smaller feathers can kind of be moved around a little bit. There's not too much movement, but this section can also hinge more for the transformation. Getting this quick makeshift stand here. And she looks less awkward in the air, as a giant predatory bird should be. And just like the toy, there's an extra set of hinges that let you fold up wings, like she's just kind of landing. And you fold the secondary joint here, and then you bring down the tail a little bit. And there you go. Unfortunately, the legs still look kind of awkward because of how blocky they are. I just realized Airazor is missing a very important detail. There you go. For a size comparison, here she is with Ravage and a minifigure, and with Studio Series Bumblebee and the high-grade Zaku. Here she is with her Studio Series toy. As you can see, I went with a darker color scheme, which I think better matches what was seen in the movie. And some reason the toy has a lot of green, which I don't think was very accurate either. And here they are with their wings extended. For my builds, here she is next to Optimus Prime. And with Scourge, I unfortunately didn't make any extra parts for when she's being corrupted. And here she is next to Optimus Primal. And finally, here she is with the rest of the Maximals, and they're a very good looking group. Unfortunately, I don't have the time to make Ape Blink, but your best bet is to try to build my Primal and modify him from there. Posing Airazor up on a stand, yep, these look very nice. A nice group of Peruvian wildlife. Now for the transformation. Everything from this point on in this video is not accurate to the movie, because you know she didn't really transform. And her transformation is based on that of the Studio Series toy, of course. First, we're going to lift her wings all the way up, just for clearance. And next we're going to fold up the tail, and bring both the legs down, and rotate them at the waist. And next we're going to fold this all down, fold down the foot, fold up these claws, and then fold down the front. Same for this side. Coming to the front of the bird, bring down the shoulder pad here, and free up the arm, bend to the elbow, and then the wrist. And same here. And next Try and take the bird head, rotate it, and fold it down. Coming up to the chest here, grab it by the center, and just keep pulling. And you'll see the robot head. Tuck this behind, and fold all this up, and make sure these two panels are pushed in a little bit. Now for the wings. At this hinge over here, you want to bend it forward. Just like that. Coming to the back here, take this detail up, shift it, and then taking this section of the wing on this click hinge, push it up twice, and the wing will just tuck right in like that. And same for this side. Like that. And finally, you want to take this back panel on this extra arm inside here, bring it as far up as possible, and fold this over the back of the head. And here you have Airazor in her robot mode. And spinning her around, you can see she's quite an afterthought considering this mode was never in the movie. But there's a big mess of browns, tans, and golds, and grays. I tried my best to kind of emulate some of the features on the deluxe toy. Like the head here, trying to make it look like she had the feathers coming in. But other than that, it's quite a mess. The torso is just a straight up cube. I like the arms, they're kind of slender, and of course the standard fist that I have. And the legs are okay too. I wanted to make them a little sturdier to support these giant wings on the back. And I like how these fold up, and if she had an actual robot mode in the movie, I would assume these wings would just be compacted quite a bit. And then the tail feathers hang out like a little cape. And her articulation is pretty good for the upper body. You can see the head. You can also, for transformation, wiggle this around. And of course, bend at the shoulder. And there's like a shoulder pad. You kind of have to move the wings back to get a full movement here. And then bend at the elbow. And of course, the fists are on small ball joints. And she does have some waist swivel. And in theory, these legs are very posable. But unfortunately, they have to keep up with the weight of the backpack. But it's also a nice ankle pivot. And she could do a little superhero landing. Of course, the good old dab. And something sort of dynamic. She gives me a lot of vibes of my Bumblebee movie Blitzwing, which was kind of a pain to handle around because of the wings too. But luckily, due to how the thighs and the knees are positioned and how big the feet are, she can stand pretty well just straight up with the wings. In terms of weapons, you can kind of pretend those things on her arms are little blades, or they're like the missiles a Studio Series toy has. But she has some extra weapons, and you've been looking at them the whole time. Taking this section out, removing some of the feathers, and unfolding one of them gives you a little katana. Unfolding the second blade, these just clip right into her hands, and they look very nice. They definitely fit her style of being an agile hunter or scout. She's very fun to pose with these blades despite her large backpack, and I was heavily inspired by her Rise of the Beast mainline toy, as well as Beast Wars Silverbolt. If you were curious, the bird mode would look very incomplete without these blades. For a size comparison, here she is with minifigure and Ravage, and Rise of the Beast Bumblebee and the high-grade Zaku 3. Here she is with her Studio Series toy. One thing on the Studio Series toy I didn't want to replicate was the exposed Beast Mode head on the chest, since none of the other Maximals had that feature. For my builds, here she is with Optimus Prime and Mirage. And with Scourge, here she is with her fellow Maximal Optimus Primal. Finally, here we have all four Maximals in their robot modes, and I really wish we saw these four together like this in the movie. And you can see that Airazor is the smallest of the bunch. That's it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed Airazor here. She is my final Maximal, as well as my final planned build from Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Of course, if you want to build her and all these Maximals here, you can check out the free PDF instructions on Rebrickable. The link is below, of course. For my next video, I'll be doing a quick recap or overview video for all my Rise of the Beast builds, just to wrap things up. But for my next build, I think I'll take a long break. Who knows what I'll be making next. So stay tuned for that. And I'll see you guys then.